Hey, saltwater anglers, and welcome to the Lower Chesapeake Bay Fishing Report, your local report, whether it's good, bad, or ugly. This podcast is part of the Great Days Outdoors Network, and each week we'll be talking to local experts to learn ways we can become better anglers in our pursuits offshore, nearshore, and inshore. To keep this amazing fishery healthy and thriving for generations to come, remember to protect what you pursue. Summer fishing is fired up with warm water and hungry fish moving into the bay. So let's hear who's making the show possible, and then we'll jump into the reports. When you're on the water, your boat deck should work as hard as you do. Deck Hampton Roads offers custom non-skid marine flooring solutions built for comfort, traction, and a clean finished look. Whether you fish hard, cruise with the family, or spend long days barefoot on deck, Deck helps make your boat safer, cooler, and more comfortable underfoot. Their process includes digital scanning, CAD design, CNC precision cutting, and professional installation for a custom fit instead of a one-size-fits-all solution. Ready to upgrade your boat? Call Deck Hampton Roads at 434-378-8004 for an estimate and to see how good your deck can look and feel when you deck it out. All right, you guys, welcome to this week's show. I am excited to dig into the reports and find out what's been biting here in our backyard. We're going to go hang out with one of our old regulars, Captain Eric Myers aboard Heads and Tails Charters. How we doing, Captain Eric?
Good, Luke. How are you?
Doing good. I see lots of fishing poles behind you. You got your garage properly outfitted to look like the inside of a bait and tackle shop.
Yeah, we got a sign that says it too.
Oh, it says it's a tackle shop? Let's see this sign. Obviously, this is audio only, but I'll describe it to you. So it says Eric's Bait and Tackle on a big old fish. I like that. Well, man, give us the most recent update. So the big boat, I know you've got several boats in the fleet. Run us through the boat fleet really quickly, and then tell us what you just recently did to the contender.
So we have four boats. We have a 22-foot bay boat and then two 27-foot skiffs.
Mm-hmm.
Um, one without a tower, one with a tower.
Okay. Very cool.
And then we have that 31-foot contender that we just got brand new motors for.
Very, very cool. What'd you guys repower with?
Brand new 300 Suzuki's.
Nice. Very cool. And I have to say the black motors looks really sharp with the new wrap. And who did your wrap on your boats?
AG wraps. Highly recommend them.
Very, very cool. Yeah, that's is it Josh or John Hall? John C. Hall with AG Wraps. Yeah, they're fantastic. They do a lot of the work for my family up in Hampton at Sam Rust. So whether you've got box trucks or a boat, car, anything in between, it's kind of neat. We used them to
Onyx
do,
boxes.
yeah, we did the decal, on the side of the boat and the back of the boat for my buddy's Marlin. You can kind of design anything, just like deck it for your flooring needs. You can put logos in it, whatever. It's a neat product, and I think it's a cool option. Like if you're on that, edge of like, oh, maybe I want to paint my boat, but I'm not sure. Wrap's kind of like a done for you solution, and
Yeah.
a lot less elbow work.
A lot less elbow work, a lot more advertising.
Yep, yep. Well, talk us through your last couple of trips. So you guys obviously have options to do several different things. But what have you been catching this past week?
So on our smaller boat, the 27 skiff, we've been doing a lot of mackerel fishing and drum fishing at night. On the contender, we've been doing a lot of cobia, mackerel, running out to the windmills, catch flounder, and
Hmm.
we also had a really good trip Saturday. Um, well, it was an okay trip. We trolled first part of the morning. Had
Offshore.
yeah,
Hmm.
had one mystery bite. Had a white marlin window shop. Um, and then we deep dropped to, quote unquote, save the trip, get some groceries. Got a really nice haul of blue line tiles and two citation goldens, which was pretty cool, being that we weren't anywhere close to a golden hole.
Really? So that was
We
just a
caught
total surprise?
we caught them at 360 feet of water, blue line fishing.
So, okay, I don't know much about golden tile or blue line tile fishing. So talk us through like what are you typically looking for to to do blue line tile? What kind of bottom are you looking for? What kind of depth, and what do you use for bait?
Eh, So to start with, we're looking anywhere, 250 to 380
Hmm.
typically in depth. Um, we're using for the blue lines mostly hand crank stuff, Torium, Torium 20s and 30s
Okay,
with, you know, anywhere from 40 to 50 pound braid.
got it.
Um, and then the average, chicken rig, 2 to 3 hooks, squid, cobia belly, ballyhoo chunks. It's honestly whatever you got.
Hmm.
They're typically not very, let's say, picky.
Got it.
It's kind of like offshore croaker fishing. You hit the bottom and you reel it up with a fish or two on there.
Got it. And
Um,
do you look for a certain depth or feature on the bottom, a hole? Like what kind of things do you see on your fish finder before you know you're at a good spot to even attempt to try to catch some blue line tiles?
so we typically look for like muddy or pebbly bottom, typically close to like a drop off or of some sort. And then there's also spots for those blue lines that's nowhere near a drop off. It's just some rugged bottom.
Okay. So there's got to be
Um,
some sort of like uh,
from what I
texture.
know, yeah, it's from what I know, the blue lines like to hold on harder bottom.
Okay.
And then the goldens like to sit on really soft bottom because they burrow into the mud. Um, which was weird because we were typically the goldens is anywhere 500 plus feet of water,
Hmm.
500 to 900. Um, but like I said, we were fishing about 360 feet of water just south of the canyon,
Interesting.
and it was an out of the blue thing. Well, I swore we had hooked some groupers,
And
and
then these
the
giant
gold
golden.
giant goldens came up with them. Came up, and I was pretty beside myself actually.
They're
I had fished that
gorgeous.
spot a
They're
couple times. Never had a golden there. Never seen a golden there.
That's so
Never
wild.
really heard of anybody catching goldens that shallow.
I remember years back someone saying that they thought that the next, state record golden tile or IGFA record golden tile was going to come out of Virginia because you have to go so far offshore to catch them, and that they're not like heavily targeted here. But to catch a citation, what is a citation for a golden tile?
I think it's 30 pounds.
30 pounds. And what did
Yeah.
the two you guys caught ended up weighing?
The small one was 33, the big one was 40.
Wow. That's huge. And I have personally had golden tile, and I think it's one of the most delicious fish that I've ever eaten.
Yeah, same here. It's one of the top three of
Oh
all
yeah.
time.
And I think it has a lot to do with what they eat. I think fish, what they eat tends to kind of like contribute to the flavor profile. So like golden tiles, for example, what's their diet consist of mostly?
Honestly, I mean, those tilefish, they pretty much eat anything that swims by down there,
Hmm.
from what I've seen. I've seen like deep water crabs in their belly, squid. Um, but I've also heard that a lot of them eat like lobsters and stuff up north.
So what I'm hearing you say is that the golden tile eats a lot of things that we ourselves also like to eat, like squid, crab, and lobster. So that kind of
Yeah.
helps contribute to their overall flavor profile. And what were you using for bait that the golden tiles ended up eating?
Cobia belly that we caught the day before.
Imagine that. So cobia belly is such a like versatile bait, for flounder, and now obviously tilefish. I mean, who would have thought that? And what did your actual like rig setup look like? Is it like your typical bottom rig like you would fish for sea bass, or do you do something different because you're in deeper water?
Same thing we do for sea bass, just with 5 to 6 aught circle hooks.
Okay, as opposed to what for a sea bass?
I don't know. I think most of my sea bass rigs have 4-aught J's.
Okay. So just a little bit bigger and a circle hook.
Mm-hmm.
What is it
With
like?
anywhere.
Sorry, go ahead.
with anywhere from 16 to 28 ounce weights.
Okay, got it. And then your leader material on those is going to be what, like 80?
100 pound mono.
100 pound. Okay, got it. So down there, it doesn't matter fluorocarbon versus mono.
I don't think it does.
Okay.
I think those fish are in such a rush to eat anything that swims by.
Hmm.
They don't really think about it too much.
What was it like reeling up a 40-pound golden tile from 360 feet by hand?
I watched the boys. I didn't catch them, so I watched the charter catch them. And I tell you right now, those boys were spent
I can
because
imagine.
those fish swam back to the bottom 2 or 3 times
Oh,
after getting them 20, 30 feet up off the bottom, and there was just nothing we could do except play it out.
they're
And
strong, right? They're a hard
oh yeah,
pulling fish.
oh yeah, especially on a hand crank.
Dang.
Um, I think the funniest part was the first big one we got. It fought the guy pretty much the whole way to the surface. It never like floated up like the big one did.
Hmm.
Because typically, I mean, you fight them, and then the last 100 feet is just keeping the line tight as they float up
Right, because
from
they get that
that
what is it called? Where they
bear barotrauma or something.
That's it. Yeah, barotrauma. And it's kind of the same thing that can happen to human beings if we surface from a dive too quickly. I'm sure if we had like Mike Hosang on, he could explain exactly the process. But I think it's something to do with the exchange of oxygen and nitrogen or something. It's something along those lines. But you just can't go up so fast, and so they get like their stomachs bulge out of their mouth and their eyes bulge out. I guess it's just from the change in pressure happening so fast.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
interesting.
it was pretty cool. But the first one we got, the guy in the back of the boat, he fought it the whole way up, and we also caught three really nice blue lines during that whole fight. So they had dropped to the bottom, caught a fish, and reeled it up before he got his to the boat.
That's a good fight right there. And that really does. I mean, I know a lot of people refer to it as like, oh, we didn't get what we wanted, so we stopped and got groceries. Well, like, is it fun still fun catching? I would think catching blue lines and goldens would be a
I have a
blast.
blast doing it because
Yeah,
it's more hands on. You're not just sitting there waiting for a rod to bend over.
right. It's not like
I mean,
some sad
the
consolation prize or whatever. It's still a blast.
it is a blast, and we have trips specifically to go do that all day.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you can come home with a mess of meat doing that a deep
Mm,
drop trip,
yeah.
and you
I
never know what you're gonna get. You could get groupers too. You could get sea bass, rosefish, wreckfish, all sorts of
mhm.
crazy things.
Oh yeah, the rose-bellied what are they called? Rose-bellied blackfish?
Black belly rosefish.
Close. Black-bellied rosefish. Yeah, I've heard those are really tasty as well. And I get that it's disappointing to troll and not get a bite. I've been there, done that, whether it was chasing bluefin or yellowfin. But what what took you to the area that you went to when you decided to go? Talk us through the night before. So you're obviously looking at weather and charts, but like what drew you to that area? What made you decide to go where you went?
For the deep dropping.
No, for trolling for I guess
Uh,
were you planning to troll for yellowfin?
yeah, we were planning to troll for yellowfin. We were just gonna try. I mean, the water's so blended inshore. I was just gonna try the fingers
Hmm.
because the morning was not looking very well promising. Very further out, it was looking a little rough because we had a strong west wind.
Okay.
And
Okay.
just in case the west wind stayed up longer than they forecasted, I didn't want to take a total beating an extra 20 miles.
Yeah. Yeah. And you guys had no bites at all, no signs of life, nothing?
Oh, no, there's signs of life everywhere. We had porpoises, we had bait jumping out of the water, we had birds picking. I mean, everything you'd want to see.
Yeah. And just no bites. That's
Yeah, just
frustrating.
no bite. I mean, we had the one mystery knockdown the first like 15 minutes. Took a little bit of line and came off.
Mm. Maybe a mahi?
Maybe
Big
a
mahi?
mahi,
Yeah.
false albacore, or something. I don't really know.
Yeah.
Mauled the bait up real good, but
How long will you troll on a charter? And if you're not getting any bites, what's your typical like um sort of ceiling for you just going to be ready to go? Hey guys, it's time to do something else. This is obviously not working. Like, what's a good amount of time to put into a troll before packing it up?
I would say anywhere close to like 3 to 4 hours, typically for me. I'm not going to beat it to death and make one drop for tile fish.
Right.
I
Right.
mean, if we're that far, I'd rather pull the plug at like 11, 11:30.
Do something else, and then maybe even like you could end up cobia fishing a little bit on the way in if you got
Yeah.
some daylight left. And we talked with Captain Zach Castro from Not Tugging last week, and he's got the stern drive, 35 Carolina Classic. You've got the 32 Contender with twin outboards. So for you, when you're trolling, what's your desired trolling speed, and what RPM does that typically look like on a center console with twin 300s?
Um, Typically trolling speed for us, I mean, that's around 1500 to 1800 RPM, depending on my load
Mm-hmm.
and whether we're fighting the current or something. But
Right.
anywhere from 6 to 8 knots.
Yeah. That was almost exactly what Zach said, and he was kind of explaining, and you said the same thing. It's like you kind of have to watch your RPMs and pay attention to that, and I guess based on whether you're fighting a current or not, whether you adjust. And then if you see, I'm just curious, like you are watching the finder, you see some bait and maybe some marks that you think could be tuna marks. Do you do anything different at that point, or do you just keep everything steady Eddie and hope to get a bite?
I mean, I might circle back and troll through it one more time, but not usually.
Okay. Do you
I'm
start
usually a
like,
one
do you
one
start,
pass.
do you jig things or make a turn so the baits drop a little lower? I've heard people talk about different little techniques and tricks. Do you deploy any of that stuff?
No, I wouldn't say I do.
Okay.
I just keep it moving.
Got it. If they're hungry, they'll come.
If we get a bite out of it, I mean, jig the other rods, of course, but I
Yeah.
mean, you can sit there and mark, you know, fish all day. Where if you would have kept trolling another mile and a half, you could have had a totally different day.
Right. Right. Boaters know the unexpected can happen. That's why Seato offers 24/7 on-water assistance with priority service for members. Whether it's a dead battery, running out of fuel, engine trouble, or needing a tow, Seato's fleet is ready to help. Membership includes unlimited towing in your home area with no distance or dollar limits, fuel delivery, jump starts, and more. Plus, members receive exclusive discounts on fuel, electronics, dockage, boat insurance, and other boating essentials. With over 500 ports nationwide, Seato has you covered wherever you boat. Join today at seato.com/great days. Seato, your road service at sea. Do you think about tuna in terms of being very visual hunters? And like when you know that you're in like mixed water versus super clear water, do you feel like it's harder to get a bite because they have less visibility and they're not going to see your spread from as far as away?
I think it's more or less the sound of everything going through the water. I mean, the boat, your lures, all that stuff is more of a draw than actual presentation of the lures.
Got it.
I feel like that's why out of here we get more of the big boats that have great days, and the smaller center consoles don't.
That makes sense.
Um, I'm not saying that it's like that every time, but there's a typically there's more bites out of a sport fish than there is a center console out of here.
Hmm. Just the sound. They say that like different boats raise fish, so just a harmonic in the water that they just seem to like for whatever reason.
Yeah, I mean, I've always liked the analogy of the bigger the boat is, the more it looks like a bigger bait ball.
Mm.
It looks like it's getting attacked and stuff's falling behind it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, that's interesting. Do you have a favorite spread that you like to set up? I know we've talked about it in person before, but how many rods do you typically run for your tuna spread on a center console, and what does that spread look like when you start with your flat lines and work your way out?
So it all depends on sea state for me because I can't have too much stuff getting crisscrossed.
Mm.
So we're anywhere from 8 to 12 rods. And if it's choppy or something and we can't run those tracker bars due
Hmm.
to the sea state, then we'll be narrowed down to typically 7 to 8 rods.
Okay. Those tracker bars seem to be pretty popular. I feel like a lot of folks run them in their spread. What is it about the tracker bar that you feel, works so well for, raising a tuna bite?
It just gives you more depth to your whole spread. It gives you a lot of clean water disturbance that's not in the prop wash.
Ah, got it. Oh, that's right, because it pulls them so far out to the side.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's right. They're almost like planer
like
boards.
planning boards.
Yeah,
Yep.
for striper. So you and heads and tails obviously can fish for a lot of different things because you've got, the two big skiffs. You've got the small, I say small, I mean it's still what, a 21 foot center console, the little bay boat.
Yeah.
What if you could picture, weather conditions are perfect and you can pick any boat out of your fleet and go do any kind of fishing that you want to do with whoever you want to do it with, which I know is going to be probably you, Ryan, Jenny from Shutter Speed, and maybe I'm on that short list. I don't know, but you could do anything you wanted to do. What boat are you taking, and what species are you targeting?
Oh God, that'd probably be pretty easy. Nice calm day with a good drift. I mean, I'd go sword fishing all day long.
That's right. You love the swordfish.
Yeah, those little purple bastards, man, they just got me a chokehold.
I think that is it the mystery of them, or like what is it about the swordfish that you find so alluring?
It's just each one's a different. Like, I mean, I know we've both had days with the cobia. Like, you hook one and it comes straight to the boat, and you thought for sure it'd be one of those 20, 30 minute fights.
Yeah.
Like, nice big fish, like, oh, this is it.
Hmm.
And then it's just like subpar because it just comes right to the boat. You put it in the net, put it in the boat, and it's like, ah, that's it.
Yeah.
Uh, I have yet to have a swordfish do that. And I mean, I've caught swords small as like 40, 50 pounds that fought like a 100 pounder. And
So it's the fight.
there's just no telling until you see the fish how big it is.
Okay, so
The,
that's the
the
fun of
big
it.
one, the big one 2 years ago, I mean, it came straight to the boat. We got the weight off, and then we never saw it again for another hour and a half. It went almost back to the bottom.
That's
I
crazy.
mean, and then when it finally came up and it was 200 pounds and it, it, it gave up on us, thankfully.
200 pounds
We were able
is
to-
that a pretty large one? I don't know swordfish from,
I mean,
sizes.
I would say it's borderline average across the board, like of all places.
Yeah.
But for us, I mean, anything over, 100 pounds always seems to be a really nice class of fish.
Yeah. Man, that's uh that's a powerful fish. I mean, just thinking about the way those things are built and you look at them from their head to their tail, I mean, it's just a solid muscle like tuna and wahoo and even dolphin, mahi. They sort of like taper down to like this finer tail, and then they got their forked tail, but like a swordfish is almost like a mako shark where when you look at their tail from like a three-dimensional view, like all the way or 360-degree view, like they're
Oh,
just massive.
it is. And any fish with a freaking sword on the front of its face that comes in and just beats the crap out of anything is just a cool thing.
Yeah, I agree.
Um,
Uh,
and not to mention, I mean, you're sitting there waiting for a bite, and the bite's literally like the rod tip moves a quarter of an inch, and you don't know if that's a 500 pounder or a 50 pounder.
yeah,
It's it's just the allure of this could be the time we get a big one.
yeah. That's the fun of it too, I think, is like, are you normally fishing at night or do you do daytime sword fishing?
Daytime sword fishing. So we're
Why that?
deep dropping down anywhere from 1,000 to 1,500 feet of water.
Right. And why daytime versus nighttime?
Uh, I don't like being dead for 3 days after the trip, mainly.
Oh, yeah. Like your job as a pilot boat
Yeah,
worker
yeah.
late at night.
Late at night, and all day long.
Yeah, that's a lot of work and it's a lot of preparation. And do you have to go as far as you do for tuna to get down to those deeper depths, or do you go way off the ledge into the deep? How far do you typically go for those swordfish?
Anywhere from 75 to 85 miles out of Virginia Beach. Um, it's all pretty much on the shelf,
Yeah, yeah,
up and down the line. So,
yeah. It's a serious commitment to go out and get one of those things, but boy, does it pay dividends. Because I remember last time you guys had one and you cut me some steak off, and oh my gosh, Swordfish
They're
is
so
so
good.
tasty. So tasty. Um, well, as we wrap up the report, is there anything in the near term that you guys are going to be fishing for exciting? Going back offshore, what are y'all's plans for the rest of July going into August?
I think we have two more offshore trips scheduled, mostly filled in with, a bunch of cobia and drum trips.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Mega chase sheep's head at some point next week. But other than that, it's pretty dull. Looking forward to the Spanish mackerel tournament.
Oh yeah, that's going to be a fun one. I can't wait to see if you or Bill. I feel like you and Bill have this like unspoken competition going on. Like you've won a couple times, and now he's won with a single fish, which is kind of like that's kind of a big flex in my opinion. So it'll be interesting to see who comes out on top this year.
Yeah,
Any early predictions?
dude, it's a Spanish mackerel tournament. Anyone could win. That's the cool part about it.
That's true. It's like baby tuna fishing. If you
Yeah,
think about it, you're just trolling. The fish are kind of similar in shape and color, but they're just, smaller and you're only, what, a couple miles from the beach.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
it's a real tournament where anyone can get it, and it's really fun to watch the kids fish for them. It's awesome.
that is
Not
what
to
it's all
mention
about.
we get to pick those hooked on hook families out. I think we'll have three families this year on all three of the bigger, well, the two big skiffs and the contender. So,
That's awesome. Yeah, you and your dad and your brother Hunter are obviously huge supporters of Hooked on Hope and helping to take care of those families, which is so cool. My hat's off to you guys. You guys have a heart of gold to take care of those kids like that and those families. If folks are listening and they want to get out on, one of your boats, whether that's the skiff, either skiff or the big boat, do a little inshore fishing, bay fishing, or offshore, what's the best way they can contact you to book a trip?
uh, through my through my phone number, reaching out, text or phone call, and then my booking webpage is also a really good way to look at the details of the trips and figure out what you'd want to do.
Right. Yeah, and look at available dates. And it's a Valley Pro website. We'll drop that link down in the bio in the show notes. And then what's that phone number for folks that are listening? 757.
573-9569.
Awesome. Well, Captain Merrick, thanks for coming on the show and talking us through your unexpected golden tile citations, man. Congratulations to you and your charter on those. Hopefully they were enjoyed. And then I would imagine there's probably plenty to freeze and keep for later too.
Oh yeah, those boys went home well fed. That's for sure.
That's awesome. Well, guys, that's going to wrap up a segment. Catch up with Captain Eric Myers aboard Heads and Tails Charters. Definitely give him a follow on the social media. He's all over the place: TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, you name it. Probably on social media we didn't even know about yet, but give him a like and a follow. He's a lot of fun to catch up with. Stick around for a quick word from some of our great sponsors who make sure that we can provide this content to you each and every week. We'll be back with you real soon. This podcast is brought to you by EMS and Indeck PVC Decking. Hooks rust, lines tangle, the one that got away always does. Some things aren't meant to last. This isn't one of them. For coastal homeowners, marina and dock properties, and waterfront builders, Indeck delivers a premium finished surface without the constant upkeep. Index capped cellular PVC dock and deck boards never rot, clean up easily with soap and water, and offer strong slip resistance in wet or dry conditions. Indeck, designed for what comes next. See the full line at pages.easternmetal.com/great days. Pure Flat slick lures are tried, true, and guide approved. Slick lures catch big speckled trout, redfish, flounder, and more. You can cast them a mile, and they produce a highly erratic bait fish imitation with a twitching retrieve. The tournament winning slick has helped many anglers set personal best records. Whether you're fishing the OG slick, the smaller profile slick junior, or the versatile little slick, one is sure to find that unforgettable thump we're all after. Visit your local tackle retailer or pureflats.com for your favorite color and rigging combination. Go sling some slicks today. You can't catch them on the sofa. All right, you guys, I hope you enjoyed that first segment talking about golden tile and all the other tasty critters that you can catch offshore there with Captain Eric Myers aboard Heads and Tails. Speaking of being offshore, I want to go way offshore and talk to somebody who's brand new to the show. I've been following his content for a while now, and always thought it was interesting. And we had an interesting connection recently where I posted a picture on my Instagram of some delicious scallops that I was eating out of a Sea Trade gallon jug, and he said, "Hey, man." I recognize those scallops. I want to welcome to the show Charles Wiscott with Seaford Scallop Company. He's currently like 80 miles east of Cape May, trudging up towards Massachusetts. How we doing, man? Welcome to the show.
Hey, Luke. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So you're joining us live via Starlink. This connection's incredible.
Oh yeah, man. Got to thank Elon Musk. It's a great way to advance communications and just stay in touch with everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're a commercial fisherman. For those listening, we talk a lot about recreational fishing and charter fishing, but when you get into commercial fishing like you do and for scallops, like what does being a commercial fisherman mean to you?
It's a lot, man. It's very demanding industry and work. The work is demanding, but it's rewarding also because it's very highly regulated and you're helping feed the world. And we're out here to do a good job and provide a wild caught product of USA for everyone to consume.
That's awesome, man. It sounds like you know your mission very well. That came off the tongue super quick and easy. And I gotta say, we're on audio, obviously, but I'm with you right now on video, and I'm just looking at what your office is. You're sitting in the helm of this huge boat, and I'm just watching the sea behind you just rock up and down gently. I mean, I don't know that there's a better place to go to work every day when it looks like that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, you're out here in God's country, man. It's a true blessing to be out here on the open ocean.
Oh yeah.
Um, for sure.
So, for listeners that don't know the first thing about commercial, scallop fishing, take us back. What age or how old were you when you first got introduced to fishing, and then how take us through like a high level version of how you got to where you are today as a commercial fisherman. When did you get the bug, and how did you get where you are now?
Well, my dad's been doing it. I believe this is his 48th season. He's been a commercial scallop fisherman, and he participates in other fisheries as well on the boat that he's on. Squid, which where everyone gets their calamari for their appetizers and
Oh yeah,
whatnot. Flounder, scup, which is a great fish that people need to look at to eat. That's more of a wintertime. They can catch, or I believe they catch them now up towards like Rhode Island, Massachusetts this time of year. But yeah, he's been a commercial fisherman his whole life. So it's kind of just like instilled in us. And I grew up on the water.
yeah.
Grew up in Cape May, New Jersey, small little fishing port, I guess you'd say, Victorian town. And my grandma had a boatyard there. So like myself and I have three brothers. So like we grew up there, like helping haul the boats, catching bait, just doing all what young boys did before cell phones.
Right.
And but yeah, I think I was six. I got to skip. I think I was in like preschool or something. I got to skip that, and we took the boat that he's on that he currently owns now. We took it to Weems, Virginia, to get hauled out, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever. We stayed on the boat. We hauled out, and that's probably where I got the itch of like what all this is about, and so yeah, probably there. And then I think I made my first scallop trip with him when I was like seven.
Okay.
But at that time, fishing was like really slow.
Hmm.
Laws were enacted in I believe the late '80s. Amendment 4, I think that's what that was. And the '90s were tough, but my dad never quit. He just kept at it. And I mean, we got by.
Yeah.
And scalping really came back around early 2000s, like
Okay.
really to where it was way more profitable. And yeah, I did it every summer in high school and put me through college. And then once I graduated college, I was like, man, what am I gonna do? And I was like, I'll go back fishing for a little while. And I landed a captain site pretty quickly. And that was like 18 years ago. And I'm like,
I kind of
time
like this.
flies.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, I guess I'm doing what I gotta do until I can figure out what I want to do. But it's a really good job. It's demanding, like I previous already said. Uh, but you get you work pretty hard. We try to go really hard like March to October, due to the fact weather windows are better. Uh, the scallops change in yield throughout the year.
Uh,
So I don't know if you know, or the viewers and listeners know. So like once spring comes, the scallop meats really plump up. So
uh-huh.
they'll go from like in the winter anywhere from like 5.5 to 6 pounds to like an orange basket to I've seen this season already like 11.1 because I keep track of like every basket we catch, and then like I'll do like a yield analysis for how many pounds because we bag them up every 8 hours on here. So every 8 hours we put them in a cheesecloth sack, and then they get slid down the fish hole, and then they get put in a row and a tier, and then we put in ice on top of each layer. A typical
Wow.
trip we'll take 30 tons of ice,
Holy
20,
cow.
30 tons of ice. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yep.
That's
Mhm.
60,000 pounds of ice.
Oh yeah, yep, yeah. We'll
That's
load her down with ice.
unbelievable. So you said a bunch of stuff in there that's got me super interested. So I want to go back to something you said though, because man, I really value that. You said your dad just never quit when it was tough. And I feel like our parents' generation was that generation that just didn't quit, when times got tough. I can think of my dad and my uncles and my grandpa over there at Sam Russ Seafood. And, there's a lot of hard days in the fish warehouse where things don't go your way or big equipment breaks down or whatever, big change in regulation, and you just have to tough it out. And so my hat's off to your dad for setting that example to you of like, you just don't quit, you stay faithful, and eventually things work out. And then you're talking about these scallops. So when you talk about 5 pounds to an orange basket, I can picture the orange basket.
Yeah,
Are these are obviously still in the shell, correct?
still in the shell. So like once every scallop is shucked on board.
Oh, didn't know
So
that.
yeah, every scallop is hand shucked on board. So
Holy
yeah, oh
cow.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. So yeah, so I was referencing the yield. So in the wintertime, it's pretty poor in some places, and then it increases in the spring, summer, and then once they spawn in the fall, that's when the meats shrink in the shell. So yeah,
Wow.
we shuck everyone on board. So we do that. We run them through a washer, and then we put them in an ice water solution, and then just water and ice. That's all
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
And then we take them out of that tote every 8 hours, and we put them in a 50-pound cheesecloth sack, and then put a bag tie on it, and then boom, down
So
the fish hole.
I remember as a kid working at Sam Rust when those cheesecloth sack they would come in sometimes like that, and I remember watching my uncle Bruce pull one out and just smack it fresh right to the back of his throat, eat it, boom. I'm like, whoa, what is he doing? And he was doing like basically like a quality and freshness test of them, and I was
Quality
like,
check.
yeah, absolutely. And scallops are such an interesting thing. I actually got some recently, which is, how we connected. And keeping them fresh is obviously paramount because it's such a delicate meat, and you got to really keep freshness paramount with those things so that you can enjoy them properly. And tell us, like, how does catching a scallop work? Like, talk to us about the size of the boat you're on. Like, what is the boat like, and what kind of equipment's on board to be able to actually harvest scallops?
So to go through all that, the rundown, the current boat I'm on is called the Italian Princess. She is 83 feet, 850 horse. She has a full-time double dredge permit because there's different classifications of permits, and it's also regulated by the permit is regulated by size and horsepower. So like you can't take this boat and build a 110 footer. So you
Okay.
got to stay within that baseline. So she's double dredge, like I said, 850 horse Caterpillar powered 3508. We have two marine hydraulic winches that are equipped with 1 inch cable, 300 fathoms of 1 inch cable. That is shackled to a 14-foot size scallop dredge, which has a chain mat configuration of the chain bag where the scallops are actually retained.
Okay.
So through regulation, the rings have to be 4 inches and they're all linked together. And then the twine top, which is the back of the bag, is has to be 10 inches.
Okay.
So that's all by regulation through the government, NOAA, National Marine Fisheries Service. So we'll take them, toss them overboard to the gallus. I'll set them out to a certain wire ratio that I like to fish. to where I think they're optimally catching. Typically, we make anywhere from a 50 to a 60-minute tow, depending where we are and how thick the scallops are. I mean, I've seen it where 3-minute tow, we're full. The
What?
boat starts to slow up. I don't know if you want to get into that because there's open areas and then there's closed areas. That was a closed area off Nantucket Island that was closed for a good while. We went in there and the scallops were just all U10s, big pie plates as we call them. And
Yeah,
it was like 3 minutes, man. It's like all you needed. Like, and then
that's crazy.
we get enough on board to where we'll just sit there and shuck and process until we need to set back out.
Wow. So, a couple questions. How do you even know that you're in an area that holds scallops?
Trial and error and
Okay.
just history.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad's been doing it 48 years. I had a really
Right.
good coach
Yeah.
and mentor.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I started. And all, my three other brothers started. I
Okay.
mean, we all participate in the industry.
Yeah.
All four of us.
Yeah.
So.
And then you talk about a U10 or a pie plate. So, first, talk us through the different sizes of scallops and how what those classifications mean. U10, 10, 12, 12, 15, whatever. And then also, do you look at a scallop and you can tell by the shell the size of the meat inside, or does the meat vary from the shell size?
Uh, well, we can talk about the grading of them. So yeah, we got to grade them offshore because everything's priced differently when we get to port. So though they go U10s, U12s, which that's 10 to 12 count, and
Mm-hmm.
then 10 they call them 1020s, which is really 12 to 20 count, and
Mm-hmm.
then 2030s, and then we try not to mess with 3040s because it's a lot more shucking to get a pound.
That's true.
So
Yeah.
and, and we have two dredges, so we can fish places where if we don't have a single dredge permit, where they need to probably work where a little more volume is, and we could stay elsewhere to where it's you catch less, but you make more because you're catching bigger stuff.
Right.
So, yeah, that covers kind of like the sizing of them
Oh, so
all
that's per pound. So
per
U10
pound.
means 10 or
U10.
less is a pound. So those are like little hamburger patties.
Oh yeah, like little fillets.
Yeah.
Yep, yep, yep. So those are the ones I really like to catch, but they haven't been too frequent here this season.
What's the well, I'm going to ask that question here in just a second, but yeah, so the size of the shell relative to the meat.
Oh yeah, so we pretty much you got to open them up to look at them, but like when we haul back, we dump the shells out. And, as I'm looking around fishing, watching my plotter and all, like we'll haul back, we'll dump them on deck, and I'll peek out the window and like, okay, yeah, you can see like majority of them are big, and then we pick the deck. So what that means is you put the basket between your legs, you bend over, and you're picking them off deck
Got
just
it.
like that. And then we drag them into the processing room. They get dumped into a trough where we have clean buckets, and then you start chucking them. And
Wow.
then you look at them, get a baseline percentage of like, okay, we're 30, 70, U12s to 1020s or something like that. And then that's how you just monitor the fishing. Econ fishing is, I like to reference it as.
Got it. Man, that
So
sounds like a lot of detail to pay attention to. Like there's a science to it that everybody on board has to have the same understanding, the same level of knowledge, and be pretty much executing accurately at all times to ensure that the product that gets into those, buckets that get sold to the restaurants and consumed are consistent.
absolutely, yeah. Because when we get in, like the quality check is pretty thorough and extensive.
Yeah.
Like if you have, say, I think last year, forget what we had, 450 bags or something. I bet you the doc checked 80, on the quality check. So they took
Wow.
80 counts, looked for pieces, make sure everything was uniform, everything looked good. Because then, they get put into a vat, iced, and then they get on a truck and go to the processor that we sell at, and then they get distributed amongst all over the country, Southeast, Europe, wherever they're going.
That's incredible. I've been curious to know this. So like I think about what you're talking about, and I just picture this like incredible volume of scallops and shells. And so when a scallop spawns and creates another scallop, what's the lifespan for maturity? How long does it take to go from, being spawned to being a U10 size scallop? What is that
Oh,
typical timeline?
Offhand, I'd probably say U10's 8 to 8 years. I would want to say, but like harvestable size, 20 count, something like that, 3 to 4 years. But it
Okay.
varies through the environment and
Right.
the ecosystem.
Right.
Like an area we've been fishing a lot this year. Last year there was a lot of, we call them peanuts,
Mm-hmm.
seed. Even with a 4 inch ring, we'll still see them
Mm-hmm.
because they just get packed in there and like, so I'll just jot it down, X amount of baskets of seed that we shoveled back over. Like they're just
Got it.
too small to process. And
Yeah.
we leave that area because we don't want to keep disturbing them.
Mm-hmm.
And we went back this year, which was less than a year later, and it was 10/20s and 20/30s when they were like 40/50 count last year. So in less than a year that they just blew right up to
Wow.
harvestable size of a scallop for us to work on.
So I just connected the dots. So the rings are like almost like a filter size. So no shell smaller than 4 inches is going to get caught. Essentially,
Well, yeah,
shouldn't
no,
shouldn't get caught.
you'll still catch them. Like what I was just saying, like they'll get stuck in there because we'll catch stuff like the size of a Coke can. You'll still catch it. They
Yeah.
get packed in there
Right.
strategically to where you'll still see them. So
Yeah.
that just means they're like really thick down there. You're
Yeah.
catching something that's 2 inches in a 4 inch ring.
Yeah. Got it.
So,
That's
mhm.
interesting. Man, it just sounds like such an interesting experience to go out there and think about all the heavy, gigantic equipment that's involved, the 30 tons of ice, these huge, chainmail, dredges and everything else that goes into it. And it's to get this, this
Unique product.
tiny unique product that's such a delicacy, man. It's such a cool industry to think about. And you spend a lot of time cooking on board. You got the nickname offshore cowboy at what age again?
Guy gave me that at 15. Because
15.
I was going offshore all the time. He's like, man, you're like an offshore cowboy. And I was like, it kind of just stuck. So, which, I actually named my play boat, my fun boat that I like to go out in when people always say to me, you come in off the boat 12 days or 10 days or however long the trip was, and then you go out in your little boat. I'm like, well, it's way different. We're out
Right.
here having fun. This boat, this is all business. This is a 24/7 operation. The boat does not stop. Like there's no layup time. Like we are working 24 hours a day, even like when I get off and if there's a problem, I get a light, my door open and a light flicked on to deal with
Right.
it.
Yeah, because when you're captain of a boat this size, I mean, you kind of got to be the everything guy, right? Like you're the engineer,
Yep.
the
Yep.
navigator,
MacGyver.
yeah,
Yep.
the medic.
Something breaks. Yeah.
Yeah, you're the
There's
cook
always
too.
something. I
You like to
actually, yeah.
cook a little bit, right?
Well, you got to cook on the boat, and everyone's just like, "What do you guys do? You hot pockets and DiGiorno's all trip?" I'm like, "No, no. You want to keep your crew motivated. You better put some decent, really good, delicious food on the galley table for them." So I have like I call it like a boat menu. I got this book. It's got like 25 meals in it, like everything you need to buy. Which we do this, so when we go to the grocery store, I mean, we got to buy groceries and grub and supplies for the entire trip. So this way you avoid over purchasing or over buying.
Ah,
So
okay.
I got this book that I made with like 25 meals that everything you need to buy for proportions for 7 crew, and that alleviates a lot of the overspending that you don't need to do.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I try to like make really good meals, and you got to make meals that don't take 2 hours also. And
Right.
pastas, baked chicken, meatloaf. We get some fish on board. I do want the cruise really enjoys this Parmesan crusted. If we get a flounder or something, I've done it
Ooh.
with monkfish,
Oh yeah, that's good.
monkfish.
Yeah.
Yeah, poor man's lobster. Made it
Uh-huh.
with that. Or and if we're transiting, we'll pull out the fryer or something. You
Yeah.
know or
Yeah.
we'll take stuff with us that we caught on land or something.
Yep.
We just had soft shell season. Usually May we're frying soft crabs coming out of the Chesapeake Bay.
Oh heck
On,
yeah.
on the ride out. So, but yeah, you got to cook, man. Keep the guys motivated, keep them
Yeah.
fed, well fed.
Yep. I work with a bunch of retired military folks and the joke, not the joke, but I guess whenever they know they're going to war is when the carrier would serve everybody, steak and lobster, and it's like
Mm,
that would be the big morale booster right before we're going to do some stuff, So,
heavy lifting.
yeah, heavy lifting, exactly. So you've obviously got lots of time around seafood of all different types. So when you dream up your sort of dream seafood menu or your dream seafood dish that you're going to make that involves a scallop, what comes to mind for you?
Man, what would I do? I recently just put them in a seafood boil that I did while we were home. They were really delicious that way. But probably this appetizer my uncle taught me how to make with them. You take the fresh scallops, pat them dry, get all the moisture off them. And if they're real big ones, I'll cut them in half and put them on a plate. Let's make sure I get this right. Little bit of salt,
Okay.
okay? Adobo sauce, little dash on each one, chopped up cilantro, and like
Uh-huh.
a bunch of lime juice on them. Okay. And then let them sit maybe 30 minutes.
Uh-huh.
And those suckers melt in your mouth.
Oh, so it's a raw. So it's a raw
It's a
scallop
raw, it's
dish.
a
Yeah.
sushi dish. Yeah.
Yum. I
But
think I
yeah.
think some of my favorite sushi has involved a scallop, a fresh scallop. I actually toyed around one time. I think I got it somewhere in my phone. And we made like a salmon sashimi, over rice, and then we laid some scallop on top and just hit it with the torch, with the little butane torch.
Hmm.
And man, that just melted in your mouth. But that sounds really good. So that would
Yeah,
be a
that's a good
great
one.
a great sashimi dish. And then
Yeah.
if you were to
Cook
cook,
them.
how would you do it?
Oh man, probably real simple, man. That's the thing you got to think about a scallop. You don't want to overcook them. That's
Right.
the absolute worst thing you can do. I would say pat them dry, get all the moisture off. So the scallop has like a little foot or we call it a sweet meat on the side.
Hmm.
And it's a little tough. So
Yeah.
usually I'll peel all them off, pat paper towel them dry, get your cast iron pan hot, little oil, put them down, 2 minutes, maybe a little sea salt on top, 2 minutes, flip them, and then take some unsalted butter, put that in the pan, and just start basting them. Maybe
Yeah.
just a hint of garlic, don't want to burn your garlic. Boom, another 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Simple, quick
Yeah.
and simple,
Yeah.
easy, easy. You don't want to overcook them. You don't want to make them tough. It's the
Right.
last thing you want to do to do one of
Yeah.
them.
Man, you're
Or
making me you're making me
just
hungry, man.
oh man, or even just like a good fried scallop. Make a
Yeah.
good remoulade or a homemade tartar. You can never go wrong with that.
No.
Boys, we'll fry them on here sometimes.
Yeah. I
You
bet
know,
that's amazing to have one that freshly shucked. Do you ever just shuck one right out of the shell and just pop it?
yeah, yeah, not so much. I look at
Yeah.
them so much. You catch a couple 100,000 pounds a year, you're just like,
Yeah.
I, I don't mind eating them, but I get home, it's like, oh, you want to eat scallops? I'm like, nah, not really, but I'll
Yeah.
I'll cook them for, my wife, she likes them, and I'll make them for you, but
Hmm.
I'm kind of good. I'll take the ribeye.
Yeah, exactly. I tell you, you're making me think about the last time I had those scallops. We made like a scallop slider. It was kind of inspired by what
I
the
remember
back.
seeing that on
Yeah,
your Instagram. They looked
dude.
really. You made them at work.
I did. They were
Yeah, you
delicious. And
packed up. You packed up your kit, and I was like, man, this guy's doing it right for his fellow colleagues.
I cannot take credit. I got to be honest. So, my girlfriend is a bona fide chef. She's so good in the kitchen, and she watch her favorite thing in the world to watch is the Food Network. And so, as you were describing how to properly cook a scallop, it was exactly what she educated me on, which was to get the pan hot, pat them dry, make sure there wasn't excess moisture in there, use a little bit of oil in the pan, just a pinch of the sea salt, and then leave them, don't touch them, and let them start to brown on that one side, and then the
Yep.
flip.
And then they'll release in the pan.
Yeah,
Because if you try like forcing the flip when they weren't ready,
they
it's not
won't.
gonna
Then they're
happen.
sticky and they're messed
Yep.
up. And then
Yep.
what I used was actually, and you said it, a hint of garlic. So I got some of this garlic butter and just tossed the garlic butter in the pan once it was time to do the little bit of basting. And
Yep.
then we took a little brioche bun, toasted the bun. Then I had some sriracha mayo, some lettuce, some fresh cut tomato, garden grown tomatoes. I think they're called mortgage lifters. And then and put it all together. And oh my God. Oh, and then a cilantro slaw that we made.
Oh, now
And
we're
dude,
talking.
it was just like it was like a full umami, flavor profile because you had sweet, sour, savory. It was just unbelievable. Gosh, now I want to make those again. But it's just
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
such a I can't think of another seafood product that's even close to a scallop in terms of its flavor.
There's not much you can relate it to, you
No,
know?
the
Nope.
texture,
hmm
it's
It's one of its
special.
own.
Yeah. Turn your dock into more than just a place to park your boat with Slipski's Dorado Oasis cover. Engineered for both beauty and protection, the Dorado Oasis transforms your dock into a shaded, all-weather living space, perfect for relaxing by the water or entertaining friends. Built from marine-grade aluminum and premium fabric, it also provides year-round protection from sun, rain, and debris. Whether you're lounging dockside or keeping your boat covered and ready to go, Slipski delivers comfort, convenience, and peace of mind. Slipski. Think outside the boathouse. Visit slipski.com. So when you get off the Scallop boat and you hop in your little boat, the Offshore Cowboy, what kind of boat is that, by the way?
That is a 2024 composite yacht, 26 footer. Composite yacht's based out of Trapp, Maryland, which is just on the other side of the Chop Tank above
Okay.
Cambridge. They build boats, I think. Well, actually, they're just getting ready. They started like a 62 or something, but they build a range of boats. I believe the 26 might be the smallest, or they might do a 24, but more of the Chesapeake style boats that
Okay.
are just beautiful looking,
Yeah.
absolutely beautiful looking. But yeah, it's a 26-foot composite yacht, wood free, which that was really appealing when because she's got the Carolina flair, the
Right.
shape and all,
Yeah.
and the wood free for maintenance for me, and just looking for longevity of having her. But yeah, I love to jump in her when I'm home.
And
Either we're
what do you like to target when you hop in that boat? What's your favorite fish to go after?
I mean, I love cobia fishing. I do.
Okay.
Like it kind of worked out with my schedule this year. Where I live in Eastern North Carolina, that the season has been kind of short. The
Hmm.
the flourish of fish it's like a week. But this year I was actually home for a majority of May, a couple weeks in May. So like every day it was fit. We were going.
Yeah.
And we had some really good days, out of Oregon Inlet, fishing right there. But I love cobia fishing, man. Sometimes we'll take the boat up Chesapeake Bay. It all
Yeah.
depends, you
Yeah.
know.
That's
But
that's a cool
cobia
boat.
fishing, bottom fishing, mahi fishing, all that. Whatever, sometimes it's not all about catching either. Sometimes
Yeah.
just going fishing with your buddies and having a good time and not having to worry about work and just enjoying the ocean. And yeah, you get something for dinner, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man, as you're saying that, I think about some of my last couple trips, like my first couple cobia trips this year, we've only harvested one cobia per trip, which is unusual from years past. And I think I've started to look at harvesting and sustainability a little bit different as I've gotten a little bit older, try to think about the future and all that stuff. And you're talking about just making it less about the outcome and more about the journey. And,
absolutely. Life's a journey.
yeah, man, you get out there and you just start to look around and it's like you can't help but see like, the fingerprint of like God's creation and just be like, wow, I get to be out here right now enjoying this with my buddies. Like this is so freaking cool. What a blessing.
Yeah, for sure, man. Absolutely. Yep.
So as we wrap up, I'm curious. I see this picture on your Facebook profile and it looks like I'm at like a offshore gear bazaar flea market where there's gloves for sale and Grundens for sale, but they're not actually for sale. Where did they come from? Tell us what I'm looking at in this picture.
It's a shame to say, but that's all bycatch we catch out here. That it comes up on along with the catch that we harvest that we're targeting. I mean, yeah, we call it gloves, cable. We catch a lot of cable. It seems like old telephone cable that used to run across the Atlantic. We get wrapped up in that all the time. But yeah, the gloves, the skins, boots. I mean, we catch a lot of bottles.
That's
Uh,
crazy. Ever seen a message in a bottle?
no, never seen one of them on the bottom. I caught a Mercury engine Cowan before. We were fishing near around the flight TWA Flight 800 wreckage.
Hmm.
That they got a lot of it back, but I mean, I want to say it was like 20 some years after it. We caught a life vest from that.
No way.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah,
Wow.
the picture you're referring to, yeah, and that was all in one trip. The trip was 9 days, 9 days working,
That's
and we stack
crazy.
it all up, and we on the ride in we'll bag it all, double bag it, and we put it in the dumpster. So
Yeah.
it has a home, not in the ocean. And I
Right.
guess it's kind of weighing on me. I meant to post it when we got in, but you get home, packing out,
Yeah.
family, little baby now. So we're on the ride out now. I was like, I'll get around to posting that to just try to bring some light to everyone of like try to be better stewards of not just the sea but also land.
Yeah.
And I feel like everyone needs to kind of like tighten up in a way
Yeah.
to not try to pollute.
Right.
I don't know if you were following me like a month ago, like May and June are really tough months. You see a lot of balloons, a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
balloons.
Yeah.
I mean, a pile of them. And then actually that trip talking about, we caught 8 alone that they came up in the dredge. That means they popped, they went down in the water, and we snagged them also. But we bagged them up, trashed them. Of like, so yeah, everyone's on land letting balloons go. They're going to go somewhere.
Right.
So
Straight to the bottom of the ocean, which is then,
Mhm.
turtles and sea life and everything else in between. I mean, I see you guys caught,
Plastic.
yeah, you caught a whole anchor. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
talking
we caught
about
that anchor.
phone cables that, transatlantic phone cables. I don't think some people understand that that's literally how some of these continents are connected in terms of communication. Now it's big fiber optic cables, but back in the day, it
And
literally was,
satellite.
yeah, it was cables between laying on the ocean floor between here and there.
Absolutely. Yep. Sure was.
That's
You know.
wild.
Yeah, we'll see them. They'll get snagged on the dredge, and it's pretty wild. I mean, I feel like I got a lot of the wrecks and hangs, but we'll still get into stuff, and it's just trying to get free of it. I mean, our last trip out, my colleague and I were fishing together right side by side, and he caught like this huge boom. Like, I'll send you a picture of it. Like, it was pretty wild, and he was able to get free of it, but I didn't have a hang there. No one in my circle that I talked to, they didn't have anything. We had something close by, but it could have got moved, or I think stuff kind of like shows up too on the bottom.
Yeah.
It gets like what do I want to say here with that? Gets they man, train of thought here. It gets rediscovered. It
Right.
gets
Moves around.
unburied,
Yeah.
unburied.
There you
Yeah,
go. Yeah, that makes
yeah.
sense. And I guess you've got some pretty heavy duty electronics to look at the bottom, all this, that, and the other. But at the end of the day, when that dredge is dragging across the bottom, if there's something there, I guess 9 times out of 10, it's gonna pick it up or snag it. And I'm assuming at some point you've had some damages from stuff on the bottom too, right?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yep, yeah.
What are some
I've only what's that?
what are some of the common things that break or get snagged? What are the dangers of this job?
And I mean, you can get hung up in a wreck and stuff. And I know a lot of guys who've lost dredges. I mean, knock on wood, I've lost dredges before, but I'll mark them real quick, and then we'll deploy the grappling hook. And I guess the last one, I didn't lose it. The mate had lost it. I get the 2 a.m. wake up. Hey, we just lost the dredge, and I'm like, oh man, let me get up. But so we'll deploy the grappling hook, and there's also I mean everything has a technique. So
Right.
we were I mean I remember the trip because it was a couple years ago. We were in 30 fathoms, so 180 feet. We have 300 feet of cable, so I'll deploy just about all the cable off the drum, and then just start doing a slow circle, so that wire's dragging on the bottom. So the goal is the wire comes to the dredge and uses that as a guide, and it brings the hook to it. But yeah,
So
so
that's
we had
almost like a big giant reverse of like a wreck anchor where you're going to drag that thing backwards off of
like
whatever it
a
snagged on.
like a treble hook,
That's
like a big treble hook.
crazy.
Yeah, you want to talk about some excitement? I'll also send you that video. Hauling that back because I hauled back really slow because I didn't want to lose it, man.
Yeah.
But when it came up and then we put the hook in it, then I knew it was ours. But man, you can talk about some excitement, man.
Getting your dredge back.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a lot of money. I mean,
Oh
we
yeah.
haven't really talked about that. We talked about like the ice and stuff, but I mean, you're between the dredges and cable. I mean, you're probably looking 30K.
I
You
was going
you
to say
throw
those cables are not cheap. Any kind of boat
no
rope is not cheap.
no.
People don't have an idea what some of this marine grade stuff. I mean, even a couple of lengths of chain can be hundreds of dollars, for the right size stuff when you get up into that thicker gauge stuff. But yeah,
Hmm.
$30,000 for a dredge, you can't be losing that. So obviously folks
No.
folks have gotten creative over the years. So man, what a cool thing. And what are some of the other like physical dangers or human factors that you guys deal with on board? I mean, you talk about these 24-hour days. Obviously, you guys are doing shifts and whatnot, but what are some of the dangers you have to look out for as captain on a boat like this to keep everybody safe?
Just self-awareness. Everyone knows their job. Like I got really good crew. But just you got to be very systematic, like especially with the haulback process of where to put your feet, where to put your hands at all
Yeah.
times. So it's an on-the-job training skill that you need to
Hmm.
learn by being here. And so those are like some really big dangers of putting your hand in the wrong place, putting your foot in the wrong place, which try to avoid accidents by all means.
Right.
Those are some of the big ones, really. And
Yeah.
just, I mean, it's tough because we leave for 10 days, 10, 12 days. I mean, we're probably going to be gone longer than that for what we're getting ready to go do because we're taking this boat to the shipyard in Massachusetts. The other boat we operate, because each boat's given a certain amount of days at sea to fish. So,
Yeah.
like this year, we're allocated 36 days per boat. So, like, this boat's done. So, like, if you only had one boat to operate, you'd be done work until next April.
Wow.
But
Okay, that's interesting.
yeah, so fortunately enough, we get to operate two boats.
Got it.
So the other boat's been at the shipyard. I took it there in February. It's been done and ready for us. So we're gonna go up there and get on that one and prep that boat all out, and then leave out for a trip from there.
Very cool.
Hmm.
And there's so much that goes into it that it's just neat to get to kind of dig in and take a look beneath the surface. We're out there, having fun, recreational fishing all the time, but we all love to go to our local restaurant. Most around here supplied by my family up there, Sam Russ Seafood, through Sea Trade, who's being supplied by you guys for their fresh scallops. It's neat to understand the full circle of life of how these scallops get from the bottom of the ocean into your crew's hands, shucked by hand, carefully devied up into the different sizes and packaged, iced, kept at the right temperatures, all that stuff. And just to think about that whole life cycle to a dinner plate is really remarkable. And then to think about the costs involved as we wrap up, tell us like what does an average trip cost to fill up your fuel tanks, put those, 60,000 pounds of ice, full grocery bag for 10 days for seven crew. Like, talk us through some of those costs just so we have an idea of what goes into it.
Uh, we can start with like fuel. I mean, everyone fills their car up here late in the last 4 or 5 months, but fuel has been up. But last trip it was the cheapest it's been all season. I think we paid like 388,
Hmm.
but the fuel bill alone was $38,000 for the trip.
How many gallons do you hold? I guess what's that? 1,000?
This
No,
I
10,000?
I took just shy of 10,000 for the trip. Yep.
How big
Yep.
is your tanks?
This boat holds 13,000, but you can't get it all. So that was the most fuel I've ever burned on here was 10,400 in a trip. And I was coming in on fumes because just how the hull design is and where the pickups are, you
Yeah.
can't get it all. You just
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, there's like
So
every piece of equipment has, I guess, what you call your tank capacity and then your usable fuel.
usable fuel.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was just on
Exactly.
a flight on a small plane last week to Pensacola, Florida, and we were kind of like, looking at the two tanks and managing fuel, dealing with some headwinds, and we had like 26 miles to go, and we had, 14 usable remaining, and so we're like, okay, let's burn off the rest of the right tank until she hiccups, and then we'll click over to the left tank, so then we know where our fuel is, and long story short, we landed with plenty of fuel remaining, but it's important to know the difference between your capacity and your usable because if you don't, you might end up calling CTO or Towboat US to
Uh, uh,
get
we
pulled in.
we never even scratched that service of just boat breakdowns, and no matter how well you take care of a boat, stuff still happens.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been towed, I've been the tower,
Mm-hmm.
I've had a clutch go down on this boat. We were talking about, we already kind of discussed that, but like we caught a net one time, an old derelict net, and I didn't realize it. It was attached to both dredges. So it went underneath the whole boat. Didn't realize it. It was like two
Oh
o'clock in the
no.
morning, and it got stuck underneath where the quart nozzle is because all the boats we have has a quart nozzle. So the propellers and the shaft are stationary, obviously on the boat, but then the quart nozzles around it, it's for efficiency and
Yeah.
all. But it got hung up on that. I had reverse, but I didn't have forward. I had to
Oh
get towed
no.
in for that. Yeah, just things of that. You think like, man, we're going to go out here and work 10 days, and everything's going to go great, man. As my dad always calls it, line four, where stuff happens that was unplanned.
Yeah.
It just it happens,
That's
So when everything goes running smooth, you're just like, all right, we're going to keep going. We're going to work another day or something, of that nature.
Yeah, captain of an operation like that, you got to have contingency plans for your contingency plans,
Yeah.
and backups
Yeah.
to your backups,
Yeah.
and
I'm already thinking like four steps ahead.
right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
you have to.
if folks that are listening to this enjoyed kind of getting a peek behind the scenes of what it takes to get these scallops from the ocean to the plate, and want to follow your adventures and hang out with you and the content you share, how can they follow along? Where do they find you? Which
Uh,
platforms and what name?
Instagram, Facebook, my name, Charles Wiscott. And then I have the Offshore Cowboy account, which I usually tag along. You spend so much, I don't spend a whole lot of time. I'll push it, just to share along what we're doing, what we're eating, just to give some light to the commercial fishing world and how to get from ocean to table,
Nice. I
you
love
know?
that. And what would you say in closing is the biggest sort of misconception that the average person, when they hear the word commercial fisherman, what's the most common misconception or untruth that is believed or thought when people hear that?
I guess rapers and pillagers of the sea.
Mm,
Everyone is not that by no means. We want a sustainable fishery, all fisheries. You want to be able to go back out and make a consistent paycheck. You don't want to be like, now what are we going to go do? They're all caught. But yeah, probably that misconception that everyone is not that way.
hmm
You know, I mean, I serve on a board. I used to do some dredge surveys because that's how this fishery's set. Our quotas are set. There's multiple platforms of surveys that take place, and they do a biomass assessment. And I try to voice my opinion of like what we're seeing offshore, like where the small ones are, and what I think the projection is, like what our catch rate is
mm,
for the following season.
yeah.
So, but yeah, that misconception. I mean, everyone can view it like that, I guess, per se, and want to keep everything a renewable resource. I mean, we could probably talk about that for a while of
Oh
you know,
yeah.
just things that are going on in the bay, up and down the coast, different fisheries. I mean, we got to have a whole separate podcast on that one.
Well, we will have to do that. I wanted folks to just hear, what goes into it, hear your stance and your view and how you go about doing it so that they can understand that, like you said, a lot of times it's the bad stuff that gets into the highlight reel that we hear about and think about, but it's guys like you that are doing it the right ways and sustainable practice ways that you're not out there necessarily bragging on yourself or talking about the things you do. So I kind of wanted to do a little bragging on you by
Yeah, that's
having you
kind
on
of
the
not
show.
me. So I was like, oh man, I'm usually just like stick to my lane, man, and just keep at it. But I
Yeah.
enjoyed this. This was solid.
Yeah, man, I
Yeah,
really
for
did
sure.
too. It was great to meet you and learn about your life as a fisherman. My hat's off to your dad for being such a killer example of a hardworking, consistent fisherman who, taught you the right ways to do it. And man, I look forward to having you on the show again in the future and talk a little bit more in depth of some of these other topics.
Sounds great, Luke. I really enjoyed it, and thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Folks, that's going to wrap up a really cool in-depth look of what it takes to go catch scallops and all the cost, the materials, the equipment, the hard work, probably a lot of blood and sweat that we didn't even get to talk about that goes into it. And I hope you guys enjoyed that as much as I did. Please give him a follow on Instagram, Facebook. It's Charles Wiscott. That's Wiscott, or Instagram, the offshore underscore cowboy. You guys Hope you enjoyed this episode this week. I sure did. I learned a lot. Be safe out there this week. Hopefully these Canadian wildfires blow away so we can get some clear skies again and accurate weather forecast. Till next time, tight lines, y'all. Be safe out there.
Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. Black Buffalo products are intended for adults age 21 and older who are consumers of nicotine or tobacco.
If you're 21 or older and use nicotine or tobacco, it's time you charge ahead to Black Buffalo, America's only credible smokeless tobacco alternative. Black Buffalo dips just like the real thing, but without the tobacco leaf or stem. Get it now at Wawa, Circle K, Sheetz, Love's, Pilot, Racetrack, and many more that you can see on their store locator at blackbuffalo.com. Black Buffalo Tobacco Alternative is everything you love about dip, nothing you don't. All right, y'all, that's going to wrap it up this week. Please subscribe, rate, and review wherever you listen to podcasts. And remember, to get your free APCO Camo Sunglasses Cleaner Cloth, text the acronym LCBFR to 779-345-2918 to get your promo code and be added to our email list so we can send you the new show each week. You guys keep on whacking them and be safe out there.